Yeah, we got this Navara here. The customer complaining losing power, erratic shaking. Asked me if I could check it out for him. Let's start the vehicle. I got the scan tool hooked up. Right, this is the Forte engine. Check engine light is not on. Let's start it up and see. Okay. Let's start over again. Alright, so this vehicle has a hard start. It sounds horrible. Real quick. Alright, so yeah, so we had other mechanics was in here, so like they couldn't get through, so he asked me if I can check it out for him. I'm just gonna take this off because the noise is really loud. Right, so as I said, other mechanics was in here. They did the flush, they did change filters, oil, all those things, tried to rectify this problem and still nothing. So he asked me if I can check it out. Let's see what I'll do. I got my scope out. I can scope it real quick and see what I get. But what I'm gonna do first is gonna hook up the scan tool on it and see what readings I'm getting. Alright, so let's hook up the THINKTOOL. Everybody know this is my go-to scan tool. Going on recent, Nissan. Okay. So what I did before, I have some known goods saved on this scan tool. So I'm going to use that data to compare it to what I'm getting here. This is Middle East. Come on. This is Navara. Let's see here. D40. Alright, so I believe this is 2011. Let's see here, or 2010. 2010. Right, same thing though. Right, I'm going after the ECM. Scan for codes. Yeah, we don't have no check light on this vehicle, and you hear how the vehicle is sounding. So I'm going to read some data and go all data. We're going to get RPM signal here. I need to get anything concerning injectors. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Cylinder miscount. Try that. Right. So my RPM is 0. Miscount is so it looks like I'm getting a cylinder miscount on all. Sorry for the shaking up. This is the vehicle doing that, not me. Right. Let's try another route. Let's try another avenue. I'm gonna go. I believe that what happened with this client, he took he said he took diesel from an unknown fuel pump, and that's when everything started to go haywire. Right, so let's come out of here. Try to go through the back door with this one and see if I get some more information. Right, this is the 2010 Nissan Navara. It's a pickup. Right, it uses a diesel engine. So I'm not sure exactly. It is fuel related. I narrowed it down to that. I'm trying to figure out which injector is giving the problem. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it all? I believe it's 2. It's not an ignition, not spark, but let's see what it is. I'm gonna do a read data here. What I'm trying to do is look for anything where it could give me injection, fuel injection. Let's look freeze frame, see if you get it. No, it's not. So seeing that this is the older model, it's not giving me anything when it comes to injection, my injectors. So I wonder if I can, let's see if I can use my Picoscope with a pulse sensor in the exhaust. Alright, let me show you my setup real quick. So I got my arm clamp hooked on to number 1 injector. I'm using that as my sink. And hold on, let's boot up this laptop real quick. Alright, so I got my pulse sensor in the tailpipe, right? So the blue channel is my arm clamp and my red channel is in my tailpipe, right? So I'm gonna use the exhaust waveform to figure out what cylinder has the issue or cylinders that have the issue, and I'll take it from there, right? So I'm going to let it run a little bit, and then I'm going to just take the capture, and you're going to stop it and just analyze the waveform and see what cylinder has the issue. Look like all, actually, to be honest, right? So let me stop it real quick. Alright, so the blue trace is a current clamp around injector number 1, and the red trace is my pulse sensor in the exhaust tailpipe, right? So anytime, when the old school man used to say wherever there was a misfire in the engine, used to create like a vacuum in the engine, right? So, and they used to put a dollar bill behind the tailpipe, and you actually see like the dollar bill want to pull in through the tailpipe, right? So what they was referring to is, as you see in the picture, where the number 2 and number 3, it basically create a vacuum and want to suck that dollar bill in, right? So I got some good waveform, and I'm going to compare it to what's happening on this vehicle, right? And as you can see, it's nothing like what the good waveform is, right? So I'm going to pull the injectors on this vehicle, flush out the system, and take it from there. Right, so in order to remove the injector, right, I had to remove the valve cover, pull the injectors. They came out pretty well, right? And I'm gonna flush out this system with some diesel treatment, and also I'm gonna drop the tank on this vehicle and suck all that out, right? So I'm gonna replace all these filters. Although the customer did replace the filters before, but I'm not leaving no room for errors on this, right? And I'm gonna probably run some treatment through the fuel pump also while I'm at it, right? So I'm just taking whatever necessary steps I could take, so I don't have no more comebacks, a comeback on the hole when the injectors come through, right? So let me just show you what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna install a new inject filter, right? This vehicle carries 2. Some of them carries 1. So this one is for the primer pump side, and the next one is coming straight off from the pump, right? So I'm gonna just flush out both lines and also replace the filters. As I said, make sure everything is good. They also on the one that's coming from the pump, it have what you call a water trap, right? This customer has to replace his one because I saw that the check light was on when he was diagnosing this vehicle, right? Let me just go and take these injectors to get sorted out by my boy Mark, right? He does all my injectors for me. He does a real good job, right? So this is the machine that he used, right, to just check the injectors first before he decide what the next step is. So after we try to flow test the injectors, we noticed that the injectors some of the injectors wasn't even opening, right? And we saw why, because basically like the internals was stuck, right? So what we did was order the parts, and we got the permission from the customer to go up with fresh parts, and this is the new injectors basically, that not new but refurbished injectors that we are flow testing right now. Make sure everything is running optimum, right? Before we put it up on the engine. And yes, he did recommend that I need to change out all the filters and drop the tank and all those stuff, which I did prior to bringing it to him, right? So this is what we use, right? This is one of the machines that he has that to test injectors and make sure that they are flowing and stroking properly, right? Yeah, he got some good stuff, man. I ain't gonna lie, right? So far so good, no issues with this service provider, right? So anytime you need injectors sort out, this is one way to know that is working properly, right? Here's the old school way, is priming it, but this state of the art stuff that he has here, right? Got the injectors back from my boy, right? So we're gonna just do a little final checks. Replace the valve cover gasket and the injector seals also. right? He also hooked me up with some injector seals and injector washers, right, for this unit, so I don't have to worry about going and get those. That's the one thing about taking things from him, you know what I mean? He hooked me up straight up, right? So yeah, what he told me and showed me was how what you call it, the internals was stuck in the nozzle, right? And that was not allowing the fuel to basically come through the nozzle. So what could have caused that? Well, I don't want to say this bad diesel. It could have been that this um this wasn't serviced at all for a while, or never serviced, and what caused, just decided to give up. So it could be wear and tear. I'm not sure. It could be the moisture. It could be water in the diesel that caused the internals to seize up. I'm not sure. As I said, we have tried to pull it out, use physical force on it, and those things are stuck. Look, I'm really trying my best here just to pull it out, and it's not even coming out, right? So, and that's all of them, right? Probably under pressure, probably number 2 and number 3 will, move a little bit, but not as much. And according to the waveform, that's what looks like what was happening, right? It wasn't really moving much to spray any fuel down inside the combustion chamber, right? So I got these numbered already, so I'm going to just pop those back in, and I'm going to do some other service on this vehicle and make sure, so I said, I cover all my bases, all my tracks when I do these kind of jobs, right? So another thing I'm going to do is pop off the mass airflow and the map sensor. Most likely, he said he was getting his vehicle maintained, but you know that is B, man. So I'm just gonna pop off this mass airflow, right? Clean it with some mass airflow spray, and I'm gonna also go after the map, right? And I'm gonna clean it real quick. It's kind of hard to tell that this was being cleaned. I mean, look how dirty that is. The resistor is coated, right? So I'm just, as I said, man, I'm not going to get into all that. I'm just gonna pop off these sensors and clean it up real quick, pop them back on, and let's take it from there, right? Right, so I'm gonna spray out this mass airflow and the map, right, and then reinstall them, right. I didn't get to capture the how they looked, the data, how they was looking, right, because the vehicle wasn't running properly. So I'm hoping that when I just clean it up, it work a little better than before, right. I do not maintain this vehicle, right. This vehicle came because customer got fed up of people trying to rip him off, right. So with the injectors in, right, I'm gonna put on the scan tool and just monitor the full startup, make sure everything is good, right. The water trap light was on initially when it came, so most likely he did pick up some water or some corrosive in the diesel, right, when start up, right. But to verify my fix, what I'm going to do is hook up my scope, and I want to do the same test I did when the vehicle came in. I want to put my current clamp on my sync off number 1. I want to put my pulse sensor in the tailpipe just to catch my exhaust waveform, right. So I'm not changing my testing sequence. Is going to be the same thing. Current clamp on injector number 1 as a sync. I'm gonna use my pulse sensor in the tailpipe, right, so I can see if this vehicle still has any kind of misfire or anything like that, right. I'm not hearing no misfire, but I'm feeling a slight rough idle, and as I said, man, he didn't come for that. He came for misfire situations. I'm just gonna handle that alone, right. So I hope you like what you saw, right? But let me just explain something real quick on the waveforms I'm about to pull up, right? So the top one is the known good, and the bottom one is basically the one like how when he came in, there's is a clear difference. You see how the waveforms, the peaks and the values is almost even. That is what y'all was looking for, right? And was efficient in diagnosing this vehicle. No parts was firing at this car unnecessary, and I got the result that I was looking for. Vehicle is up and running, customer is happy, right? So until then, I hope you like what you see. Subscribe, share, comment. Until next time, take it easy.